In this video, I will cover composite area involving circles. So I have here two examples to explain composite area with circles. In my first problem, the corner of a rectangle, this is my rectangle, is on the center of the circle. So this corner is the center of the circle. Solve for the area of the circle that can be seen. So we have a rectangle on top of a circle, and we only see part of that circle. So the way you approach this problem, because this is a rectangle, that tells you this is a right angle from rectangles, which means what you're covering here is a 90-degree angle. So what we see on this side is this angle right here is 360 minus 90 equals 270 degrees. We see 270 degrees of that circle. So the question is, how much of the circle do we see? We have 270 out of 360, which is 3/4. So we see 3/4 of that circle. That helps us with finding the area of the part that we see. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Area equals pi r squared. So area of that circle equals pi times 9 squared, which is 9 times 9, 81 pi. And we only see 3/4 of that. So what that means is I can take my area, 81 pi, times 3/4. Because again, we only see 3/4 of my circle. So over here, 81 times 3/4. I'm going to tell my calculator to give that to me as a decimal. Is 60.75. And don't forget the pi. 60.75 pi. Which, calculated out, is 190.86 units. So we see 60.75 pi of that circle, which is 190.86. There's my area. Right, so the idea here is because this is a right angle, that lets us know we're covering 90 degrees of the circle, which means we only see 270 degrees of the circle, which is 3/4 of your circle. And we can take 3/4 of that circle to get my area. Alright, next question. Solve for the shaded area of the square with a side length of 8. Assume both circles are congruent. So to find this kind of area, the way we solve this is we take the area equals area of the square, full square, minus our two circles. So let's go ahead and look at area of the square. Right, my square equals base times height, 8 times 8, 64. For my square, I know this side's 8, and because it is a square, that means this side's also 8, so 8 times 8 gives me 64. Alright, so now let's take a look at the circle. For the circle, we first need to ask What is the radius of that circle? So here's how we approach this problem. Because this is a square, we know that this line that I'm about to draw if this part down here is 8 units, up here is 8 units, that means over here it's also 8 units. So there's an 8 units. We have 2 circles. That means 8 divided by 2 gets me 4. So my diameter equals 4, which means radius is half of that. Radius is 2. Right? The 2 circles together make 8. Cut that in half for 1 circle, that's 4. And then 4 is your diameter, which means cut that again in half, radius is 2. So now we can look at my area. Area equals pi r squared, pi times 2 squared. So area equals 4 pi. So now we can go ahead and solve for my shaded area. Shaded area equals my square, 64, minus the circle, 4 pi. But also keep in mind that we have 2 circles. So we have the square minus 2 circles. And then we can go to our calculator. 64 minus 2 circles to equal 38.87 is my shaded area. Compared to 64 for my full area. 38.87 is the shaded area. Alright, so there are 2 examples that involves composite areas of circles.